go. And you're all made up and pretty. We want to see it.
Oh, right.
No.
I'm off to a football game here real soon.
Tammy, are you in the hospital?
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. It's my husband.
Oh my gosh.
See, he's not here. They just took him to x-rays. So
Oh, okay. Is he okay?
yeah, he just had back surgery yesterday.
Oh.
Not just, but yeah.
Wow.
So yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that. I hope everything's all right.
It'll be great once he heals. It'll be good.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
Yeah.
Okay.
So how did your guys' move go? Did it go good?
Well, I guess we're still in the process. Really.
Your camera turned off, Spence.
I can't figure out how to turn it back on, babe.
Okay, well, should we get going? I have another meeting in a half hour. I have to set it up. But
Yeah.
Okay, so
okay. I'll let someone else say the prayer since I'm kind of in a public place.
Yeah, I'll do it. I'll say it.
Okay.
Okay. Our Father in heaven, how grateful we are that we can gather together as a group and talk about family life education. We're grateful for this opportunity we have and to be in the practicum. We're grateful for Brigham Young and the opportunity we have to mix our faith with our education. Bless us at this time that the Spirit will be upon us to help us all understand the principles we talk about. Enlighten us and give us education to learn from one another. We ask for these things in the name of our Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
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 Okay, I'm going to start the broadcast then.
Okay. I guess I'll just leave the video off. I don't know what to do.
It should be at the top.
Okay, what are we supposed to be talking about today? What documents am I opening?
I think our outlines is what we're talking about again.
Yeah. So how was your feedback from Sister Buswell on your outline?
Awesome. I gotta say, and it's not because we just started recording, but she is amazing. I've never had a teacher so interactive and so concerned and worried about how well we're doing and how helpful she was. My goodness, like she basically redid our outline for us.
Wow.
It was so awesome. How about you guys? Have you done it already?
Yeah, but we're more confused now than ever.
Oh, no.
Right, Marnie? Like, but I think it's our fault. Like, I think she was even way confused about our outline and the flow of it. So I guess now we are kind of confused. So we're kind of revamping our whole outline.
Yeah.
So
We have to do the same thing. Like what we turned in was okay, but we've got a long way to go, I think.
yeah.
Oh yeah, we have a lot to do still.
You guys did your little teaching spiel that you have to do this week?
No, we haven't done that yet.
Okay.
Who are you going to do it with?
Probably some of Spencer's friends that happen to be coming over to our house anyway. So in
Nice.
order to come over, they have to listen to us talk.
I had some nurses in the room, and I told them, as I was talking to Marnie earlier this morning, I was like, hey, I'll just probably tell the nurses my thing. And they like look at me like, what? I'm like, I'm just kidding.
That's awesome.
So
Yeah,
how
it's
much
funny.
PowerPoint do you have done?
Well, we don't have much of it put together, but we have a lot of it done, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
we're the same.
Yeah. So we still have a lot to go, but we have like that outline that we did, the lesson outline, really helped us formulate everything. So we're really on track.
Yeah.
I feel like we are.
Yeah.
Are you guys feeling that too?
I feel like it's going to happen now. Yeah, like I feel like we're on the right track.
Cool.
Yeah.
I do
Like we have the content and we have it all on a draft. And then, so we just need to plug everything into it. And we started doing that, but then we were like, got our feedback back and we're like, oh, we need to redo the outline first before we finish the PowerPoint now. So,
Yeah.
so we're kind of working on that again.
We should be finished soon.
Yeah.
It sounded like that we're turning our like from what we were when we were talking to her, it sounds like we're actually turning in our lesson plans again, or a
Yes.
second copy of them. So that should help a little bit more too, because I think we'll get more feedback from her as well.
Yeah. Which we had no idea, and we did both our
Session.
lessons all in
Oh,
one.
right.
That's why it was so long, by the way.
Yeah,
Well, good
it was
for you guys.
awesome though.
Oh, thank you. Come. I think we're gonna have tons of people. We'll see.
See, I'm terrified that tons
Yeah.
of people are going to show up. That's what I'm afraid of. And I'm going to have so many people, and I'll be the nervous wreck.
I love crowd. I love speaking, so that's like I thrive off of it. I'm cool.
That's awesome.
So does my husband.
The mission probably helped you with that though, huh, Spencer?
Oh, big time. That's what changed. That was the pivotal point. It changed everything. Okay.
So what do you guys need help with? Are you guys feeling like you're at a point where you can just finish it, or are you still looking for help, like from Sister Buswell, or how are you guys feeling about it all?
Overwhelmed, but that's kind
Yeah.
of my constant state with everything. So I'm just kind of used to it.
I feel very confident. I don't know why Cammie gets that way. She gets but you, that is true. It's like an everyday occurrence. Oh, there's too much, honey. It's okay. Breathe.
It's not just this class either. It's every class. I'm always overwhelmed. There's so much to do. He's like, there's 2 assignments. I know, but there's too much. I don't know.
So he talks you down off the wall.
Usually.
Yes, all the
Well,
time.
In her defense, that's usually at like 1 a.m. when we've been doing homework for 12 to 14 hours. So,
Yeah.
That was me last night. I'd sat at the computer and wrote this 9-page paper, and then spent all these hours doing other stuff. And then I finally went into 4:45, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, we're totally screwed!" Like,
Yeah. And then she went into panic mode. And I was laughing so hard. Like I was in my husband's hospital room laughing so hard. Because not at your expense, Marnie. I'm so sorry. But it was more like, it just made me feel like I am so glad I'm not the only one that makes like these mistakes. Because sometimes I feel like I'm the only one.
You're not.
I finally, like, after that, I just shut the computer and went to bed. I was like, I'm done. I cannot sit here. Oh.
That's so funny.
This is irritating me. I can't turn my camera on.
But we're
Well,
seeing
we
a very
can hear
lovely
you really well.
black screen.
What?
I'm just seeing a picture of you guys, like a picture of the two of you, and then a black screen.
Oh, mine was a black screen. Now the picture of us came back.
Cute.
Was that when you guys got married or dating?
That's when we were dating.
Fun.
That's like one of our first official dating pictures.
That's awesome.
Okay, so we talk about our outlines a little, or how about you guys? Do you need help from us, or anything that we can do for you?
No. Maybe I'll see what you did. Did it feel like ours did it flow? Because Sister Buswell was kind of like there was some confusion about maybe having too much. She just kept telling us to, what was it? Cut out the junk. What you keep saying?
Yeah.
Well, I went back over yours, and I kind of thought, like, honestly, when I first read it, I was like, oh, this is awesome. You guys are doing so good. And I still feel that way, don't get me wrong. But I did kind of see what she meant. Some of it almost felt like it was some things that may not have even needed to be, like some of the, I don't know.
Like what? Tell us. Do you remember specifics?
No, I don't. I can pull it up. But there were a couple things that, like, you were explaining about how you were going to set the PowerPoint up or something like that. I don't remember exactly what it was, but those were like kind of things that you don't have to talk about, if you know what I mean. Well,
she was saying that we needed to cut the junk out. Yes. But she also was saying that we need to add our references in, which is true. We didn't realize we had to have our references within our lesson plan because we were going along with the example online, and in the example, she didn't have any references. So we need to add those in. But the other thing too is she was saying that that she had a hard time following it too, because I think a lot of it is on our PowerPoint, and we don't have that described in our lesson plan. It just says show PowerPoint, blah, or talk about this, and then we have the PowerPoint. And so I think we need to be more descriptive as well in our lesson plan, like what to talk about and what it is, even if it is a slide, because she's right, because you don't want to hand it to somebody that can totally do the workshop without you there, but they're not going to necessarily have the PowerPoint with it,
Right, which actually, it's funny you say that, because she said similar things to us too. There were times where she said that we didn't explain enough. Like, you guys know how you were confused about one of our videos, the Partly Cloudy video?
Yeah.
She was confused too, but and after we talked about it, it is a really good video, and I think we would be able to explain it more. But that's the thing, is like we should have explained it in the actual writing, and we didn't.
Yeah.
Just like
how are you going to make that connection?
Right. And she was telling us that, like, she's like, I'm guessing part of this is on your PowerPoint.
Yeah.
So I'll have to, like, look at your PowerPoint when you've got that finished and compare it with your lesson plan to see, like, how this is all going to flow together.
Yeah. And that's what she said to us too.
So I don't think you guys were the only ones. I don't think that we had that same issue. However, that's an easy fix. You just, from my perspective, is you just go back and explain how it correlates. I was kind of thinking the same thing you were, is just make it easier by saying, here, it's going to be in this PowerPoint. But in the PowerPoint, we're going to explain too. So we should probably do that on the lesson plan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we got our work cut out for us still.
Yeah.
And it was a little frustrating because we'd spent, I don't even know, like 25 hours. It felt like a million working on it. It felt pretty good about it, pretty confident. And then we get back to feedback and we're like, oh, geez. And then after our consultation, we were both like, oh, geez. And so we both just agreed to let it go for the day and start again fresh the next day, because we were like, gosh, dang it,
You just feel a little deflated a little bit.
Which kind of is good. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, we're getting there. We're getting back to where we're like excited about it again.
Yeah. I guess I have a different, and Cammie always tells me I'm so weird. But I have a different perspective. I like that kind of feedback, and I totally know what you mean. But for some reason, from Sister Buswell, I feel like she's trying to perfect us. And so if you come with it, if you come at it from the perspective of, I know I'm going to be I'm going to have lots of faults somewhere, and she's going to find them and help me pick them out and change it. It kind of gives me more encouragement. It's like, oh man, she's found this that I didn't see that, or you know what I mean? And it makes me want to do better. So.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I wouldn't have it done any other way. I relish on her feedback, because I know that's the only way that we can learn and grow. And so I welcome it. And but it's just hard because she's confused about it, so it makes us even more confused. And so it's kind of like, so where do we go from here? And so I think that, Marnie, and I haven't talked to you about this, but I think that once we redo our outline and think that, okay, maybe this one will work, maybe we ought to do another conference visit with her and just get her feedback one-on-one again.
And we maybe can email her the PowerPoint and have her, do like a split screen and watch them both and look at it. And so I think it's going to make more sense for both of our projects, our workshops, to have it, because you can't have one without the other if both of them are part of it. So.
Right.
I don't know. I think that her comments and her feedback are extremely genuine and for our best interest, and
yeah.
It was good. It was just, I was like, oh, dang it.
And it's valid. I mean, she knows what she's talking about.
Yeah, I felt that way too. And I don't mean to be like that super optimistic guy, but you can ask Cammie. I don't know. I don't get that feeling that you're talking about, that
Deflated
I
feeling?
don't get deflated. I don't know why. I just don't. I guess I see things. And I think, like you said before, Tammy, I think it's from my mission. I take everything, even if someone calls me a fat retard, I think, well, that's a good point. Let's see how I can make it better, you know?
Man, I thought I was an optimistic person. I don't know if I can compare to you, Spencer.
Spencer doesn't need to come to our class.
I'm not perfect. I don't mean to boast by any means. That's just me. That's just my nature, I think.
So that's
Oh,
great.
that's awesome.
Am I lying, babe, or is that pretty true?
No, that's pretty true. And then you like expect everyone else to kind of follow suit.
I not purposely. I
Hey,
trick myself.
sorry, I gotta go just for a second.
Oh, you're fine. Go ahead.
He is at X-ray.
All right, so should we start going over our
It's gone a while.
Yeah, I
that's a
think
good
we only
idea.
have a little bit of time left.
You guys doing okay?
I was looking at our outline and thinking in what regards, like how it can tie into our teaching. I think chapter 5 was pretty, for me, that was an important chapter, especially as we are preparing to start teaching. And how it talks about how we just never scorn or contempt. No learning happens when feelings of uncomfortableness, like we have to be really careful with how we teach and how we address our students.
Okay, sorry about that.
Oh, you're fine.
I totally agree. Like, because if you come off as someone that knows too much and that's like, let me teach you, then everyone is going to be put off and they're not going to listen. I mean, it's just like people like yelling at their kids and stuff, like, because parents get in that mode of I know best, and then their kids just tune them out because they're tired of listening to someone yelling at them and not understanding them from their perspective.
Right.
Are you guys talking about the intro or how to start it, or?
No, we're talking about chapter 5.
Oh,
But like we've all been in those gospel doctrine classes where we have that teacher who is a complete know-it-all, a scriptorian that really knows a lot, but there's really not a whole lot of learning going on because you feel like all they're doing is just regurgitating how much knowledge they have.
Oh yeah.
And I think that it makes it hard to learn and to grasp because you're just like, you're so put off by their mannerisms and so I don't know. I think it's a good point that we could learn at this point in our class and the process.
I totally agree, Marnie. And what your comments made me think of is like those teachers that in like gospel doctrine classes that ask the questions that everyone already knows the answer to, like, and what happened to Nephi next? And like, you're like, of course we all know the story. It's not making us think at all. Like, and so someone raises their hand and they're like, very good. Now moving on to my next point. And I think we have to be really careful not to make our audience feel like we think they're stupid and have to ask them those really stupid basic questions.
Right. Those little
Which
and
actually,
I was at the teachers discussion thing on Sunday. You know, that new thing that they're doing. And the one thing that we talked about, and I talked to Marnie about this too, is, you want the participants or students to feel like whatever they have to say is important and valid, or they're not going to want to make comments again. But one thing that we're going to make it a point as well is to make it a point that that it's a safe place. And do you want to take over, Marnie? I got to go. Hang on a sec.
Sure. We talked about how important it was for us to make sure our participants in our workshop know that it's safe and there's not going to be any judgment, that, feelings of sadness or depression affect everybody. Like feelings of, not necessarily depression, but if we make it feel like they're different and it's not safe, then they're not going to want to share. And so that's one thing that we're going to really work hard on, making sure they feel that our workshop is safe for them, or I think any class. Like if you don't feel comfortable or safe, you're not going to share or even answer a question.
I totally agree with you. I think that was one of the main principles that stood out to me too in chapter 5. Something that goes along with that too was that about in chapter 4 when it talked about activating existing knowledge, so like what everybody was really saying, it all correlates, and how in order for a participant to feel safe or someone in the class to feel safe, you have to relate to them on a certain level. You can't You can't talk down to them or belittle them. And then on
Right.
the other hand, you also, as a instructor, you can't talk to them like you have more knowledge than they do. Because really, most of the things, like it actually says in chapter 4, it says learning is facilitated when existing knowledge is activated as a foundation for new knowledge. Because most of the knowledge that we talk about with parenting has somewhere been taught, but maybe not received exactly the way that it should be, maybe not in the proper manner. So a lot of times they have the right tools, they just don't know how to use them. So in order to create a better understanding for the participants, they have to feel comfortable with you, and then you have to help them learn according to the knowledge they already have. So it's really this like, it's all really interrelated. I think it's pretty cool.
Absolutely. Well, and it talks about that joining process of letting the teacher and students engage in a connection. Like,
Yeah.
I understand you, I get you. Or having two participants or students connect and have conversation and comments back and forth where it's all just very connected. I think that's so important.
Yeah. That's actually all the chapters were really interconnected, because it basically talks about, setting up a proper teaching environment, asking questions. I mean, and I loved I think it was chapter 4 that talked about telling stories. 5 might talk about that too. But and even 6 and 7 were still good, chapter 6 and 7. But I think I'm with you, Marnie. Most of what I taught was in 4 and 5, but a lot of it, I really liked the idea of using analogies and stories. And I think in chapter 6 there was even something that said about how we should personal life stories,
right,
to engage the audience, which was really, that stood out to me too.
Yep.
I think that's important, because as telling as some stories are, when we can relate to them on a personal level to show them that we've had a similar experience, it helps them to engage and be like, oh, it's not just me.
Right.
And we have a couple of examples